Did you know that before the UK, before the English language, and before the city of London, this land was once home to an ancient people who were invaded by one of the largest empires in the world? In this video, you will learn about the history of the United Kingdom. Before the UK came into being, the area had been inhabited for thousands of years. The first inhabitants were the Celts, who lived in villages with their own culture, beliefs, and language. They lived by farming, fishing, and fighting to defend their land. In 43 AD, the Roman Empire invaded and took control of the area. The Romans brought about major changes, such as building roads, cities, temples, and an administrative system. One of the main cities that emerged during this period was London, also known as Londinium. The Romans ruled for about 4 centuries before leaving in the 5th century. After that, the area was invaded by the Anglo-Saxons and then the Vikings from northern Europe. They brought a new language and culture that became the basis of the English language and British society today. So the ancient period is a very important time that formed the foundations of the history, culture, and identity of the UK today. The Middle Ages were a very important time in the history of England and the UK because they shaped the political, social, and state power that continues to this day. The biggest event of this period was the year 1066, known as the Norman Conquest. In that year, William the Conqueror from Normandy, now France, led an army to invade England and won the war. This victory changed the entire country. After William came to power, the system of government was reorganized. The country was ruled by a feudal system, where ordinary people had to work for landowners in exchange for protection. The power of the king grew stronger, and the dynasty became the center of the country. This period was also a time when many castles and churches were built. Castles were used for defense and to show power, while the church played a large role in people's lives, from education to religion. Language and culture also changed. Norman French merged with Anglo-Saxon to form the basis of modern English. In short, the Middle Ages was the period that created the foundations of the state, monarchy, culture, and English society, which are still influential today. The formation of the United Kingdom or UK did not happen overnight, but was the result of a long period of political, historical, and cultural integration. Initially, England and Scotland were separate kingdoms, each with its own king and law. However, for political, economic, and war-related reasons, the two kingdoms united in 1707 through the Acts of Union. From then on, a new country called Great Britain was born. Then, in 1801, Ireland was merged with Great Britain to form the new state called the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. This union made the UK larger and more powerful, both politically and militarily. However, some people in Ireland were dissatisfied with British rule. After years of struggle, Southern Ireland seceded and became an independent country, Ireland. Only Northern Ireland remained in the UK. Since then, the country has been known as **right United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the name it still uses today. In short, the formation of the UK is the result of national unity, division, and coordination of powers, which the British Empire was the most powerful country in history. Between the 18th and 19th centuries, Britain expanded its power to many continents and became the largest empire in the world. During this period, the UK controlled vast territories in Asia, Africa, America, and Australia. Many countries and colonies were under British rule, such as India, Canada, Australia, and parts of Africa. Because of its territory in every corner of the world, people said, *right, the sun never sets on Britain. Britain was able to become a great empire due to its strength, strong navy, international trade, and technological advancements from the Industrial Revolution. This gave Britain control of the seas and global trade. However, the empire also had its negative sides. Many colonial populations were forcibly controlled, and their cultures and resources were taken for the benefit of Britain. This created struggles and independence movements in many regions. In short, the British Empire was a time when the UK had a major influence on the world, politically, economically, and culturally, and that influence is still visible today. The Industrial Revolution was a major time that changed England and the world. The UK was the first country to experience this revolution, between the 18th and early 19th centuries. Before this period, most people lived in rural areas and worked in agriculture. But the invention of new machines and technologies, such as the steam engine, changed production dramatically. Work that had once been done by hand was moved to factories, where more could be produced faster and more efficiently. With factories came the development of transport. Railways and trains were built to transport goods and people from city to city. They connected the whole country and encouraged rapid growth in trade. One of the biggest impacts was the rise of large cities. Many people left the countryside to work in factories in cities such as London, Manchester, and Birmingham. However, life for workers was not easy, with long working hours, low wages, and difficult living conditions. Despite its social problems, the Industrial Revolution made the UK a leading economic and scientific power in the world and laid the foundations for the modern society we see today. The First and Second World Wars were major events that had a profound impact on the UK and the world. In both wars, the UK played a key role as a defensive and leading power in the Allies. World War I, 1914 to 1918, the UK entered the war to defend its allies and maintain the balance of power in Europe. British troops were sent to many battlefields, and the country used its resources and industry to support the war. The war caused great losses and changed British society, with people seeking peace and greater social rights. World War II, 1939 to 1945, this was a war in which the UK faced greater danger. London and other cities were bombed by the air during what was known as the Blitz. Despite the hardships and fears, the British people showed great resilience and unity. Under the leadership of leaders such as Winston Churchill, the UK continued to fight until the Allies won the war. After the war, the country had to recover from the damage and begin to build a new society. In short, the First and Second World Wars dramatically changed the course of the UK's history from a great empire to a modern country focused on peace, unity, and development. After the end of World War II, the United Kingdom entered a new era full of dramatic changes. The once great empire that ruled over much of the world began to lose its colonies and many countries gained independence. This transformed the UK from a vast empire into a modern nation. During this era, the UK focused on democracy, human rights, and social welfare. The government established the National Health Service, NHS, and developed education to improve the quality of life for its people. London became a global economic, financial, and cultural center. In 2020, a major event occurred, backhand index pointing right Brexit. The UK left the European Union, EU. This decision demonstrated its desire to control its own future, although it brought with it some difficulties and economic changes. Today, the UK remains a powerful influence on the world through economy and finance, pound banknote, culture, art, music, and film, performing arts, education and famous universities, graduation cap, history and monarchy crown, which remain important symbols. In short, modern UK is a country that combines a great past with change and adaptation to the modern world. The UK has a long history, full of struggle, progress and global influence. It is a country that clearly connects the past and the future. From ancient times to modern times, the UK's past laid the foundations for building a modern nation that continues to exert global influence today.